So, there's a video going around that I think is really, really cool. This was posted onto the Bar Down Twitter account, and it goes over Philadelphia Flyers young star Matvei Michkov, and how he couldn't believe it the first time he got asked to dump and chase. The video clip has some captions, so we are able to read along here. Mishkov says, so you're just supposed to dump it in, cross the line, rim it around the boards, and then charge into the end zone to try to fight for the puck once again. First time I heard that, I was like, what? What? You gotta do that? You gotta lose possession of the puck? But I was like, yeah, sure. Then I'd hit the ice and still kind of do my own thing. I am not a fan of dump and chase hockey, Mishkov goes out there and says. I'd rather carry the puck in under control, make a clean pass, and enter the zone with possession. If you dump it in, now you gotta go battle for it. There's no guarantee you're ever gonna win that puck back, Mishkov says in this video clip. First off, there's no guarantee you're gonna even win the puck back. Second, it's exhausting hockey. You burn so much energy battling for the puck that you've got nothing left for the actual attack. For me, it's way better to gain the zone with control, keep the puck, and actually set up a solid scoring chance. That's how I see it, Mishkov says. And this is absolutely hilarious. Not because Mishkov is necessarily wrong or because he's right in his assessment. His perspective is very Russian, I will say. If y'all ever looked at some documentaries about the Red Army Soviet team back in the 70s and 80s and stuff, this is kind of how they played. They didn't like to dump it and chase. They always wanted to maintain possession. So if there was no appropriate lane for entry into the offensive zone, guess what? They wouldn't dump it in. They'd pass it back to the D, cycle it back into their own zone, kind of rag it a little bit, and then they'd restart the break-in and try to find another opportunity from there. It was very frustrating to play against the Soviets because they did not like to give up possession of the puck. It's a very old Soviet/Russian perspective to have, where it's like, no, we're not going to dump and chase. We only want to have a possession-based hockey game. And the reason this is interesting is because of a reply from one Dan Riccio here on Twitter. Canucks Central, 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Time, Monday to Friday on Sportsnet 650. He goes out there and asks, I wonder how Mishkov is going to get on with Coach Tocchet. And my friend, that is the million-dollar question, and it is exactly what I said was going to be the problem when Rick Tocchet was hired by the Philadelphia Flyers. It's not necessarily that Tocchet is a terrible coach that doesn't bring anything out of anybody, but it's that Tocchet has a very particular style that doesn't bode well with very particular kinds of players. And Mishkov is one of those dudes. Tocchet hockey is dump and chase hockey. Tocchet hockey is, if you do end up finding yourself breaking into the offensive zone, and when you're playing Tocchet hockey, if you actually find yourself an open opportunity to get into the offensive zone without dumping it in, Tocchet hockey wants you to circle back around the goal line, pass it back to the D, go D to D, and then the D will take a shot that gets blocked and then it goes the other way. There's a very particular formula that Rick Tocchet loves to play with all of his lines all of the time. And only specific guys, like JT Miller, for example, have the wherewithal to adjust to this system and actually create offense with it in play. Quinn Hughes could create offense with this system because guess what? The puck's coming to him every opportunity. Every time in the offensive zone, Quinn Hughes gets the puck, he throws it on goal, it gets tipped by Brock or Jake DeBrusk, and then it's a goal. That's how Tocchet hockey creates its offense, and there'll be a lot of rebounds, a lot of net front presence goals. Rarely will you see Tocchet give the go-ahead to just walk right in and dipsy-doodle dangle your way to the front of the goal and then take a shot and score like a Zegras or a Mishkov can. These guys do not play the style of hockey that Tocchet likes. There will be very particular players that excel under a Rick Tocchet system. We had seen that in Vancouver. Drew O'Connor, Dakota Joshua, JT Miller, Connor Garland. These guys are all dogs. These guys are all players who play with hard forechecking. These guys are physical. These guys have don't back down attitudes. These guys are not skill guys. These guys are dogs. And I'm sorry, but Trevor Zegras and Matvei Michkov, the way these guys play, they don't play that dog-style hockey. So I very much question how Mishkov and Trevor Zegras will do under Rick Tocchet as a head coach. This is why I had doubts. I think that certain players will do very well under Tocchet. Like, head over to the Philadelphia Flyers and their lines, just take a look at who it is that they have. I mean, Travis Konechny is a name right away, in my opinion, that will do very well under Rick Tocchet. Noah Cates, I think, has a lot of potential in a Tocchet system. So does Christian Dvorak, Nick Delorier. You might actually get yourselves some production out of Delorier and Garnett Hathaway with the way Rick Tocchet likes to see these guys forecheck. There is a very particular style of hockey that Tocchet plays, and it does not bode well for skill guys like Mishkov and Zegras. We saw it in Vancouver. We saw it with Andrei Kuzmenko. We saw it with Elias Pettersson and Daniel Sprong. Skill guys don't have the best time under Rick Tocchet. Let's go out there and read some of the replies to this tweet. Tocchet is the most overrated coach in the league. I don't know why league consecutives can say, okay, we're not going to read that. Mishkov is correct. Why dump and chase? He better start learning Dumpanese. Wait till he hears Rick explain that shooting less is better. And yeah, you know what? It was so interesting how the Rick Tocchet system would eventually culminate with the Canucks having like 15 shots a game. It was so frustrating to see, especially with the talent pool that we knew these Vancouver Canucks teams had. Sure, there was an entire conflict between two of the top players on the team, which led to a lot of the rift and disalignment with the way the team played, but still, Rick Tocchet is a coach whose overall record in the NHL has not been great outside of one Vancouver Canucks standout season. Every other year in Phoenix, the other season in Vancouver, it's been bad for Tocchet. So I am personally quite pessimistic with the way he's going to be able to coach and form this Flyers team into an offensive juggernaut like some people think they're going to be. Like, maybe I am just the biggest Rick Tocchet hater on the planet at this point because of the way he decided to quit on the Vancouver Canucks and the style of hockey in which he portrayed, and how a lot of these Canucks folks just could not get it going under a very hyper-focused specific Tocchet system where he wanted to reframe the way Elias Pettersson thought the game. There is so much to be upset about as a Vancouver Canucks fan. But for the Philadelphia Flyers, it's going to be this group of guys now. And I have no doubt that some of them will do very well with Tocchet as their guy. I just don't know about some of the top stars. Like, everybody's getting so excited about Zegras, and Mishkov, of course, has a big future ahead of him. But I strongly doubt that Tocchet is the guy to be able to bring out the best out of these players, and that these players are going to like the system that they play. I don't know, man. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How is Mishkov going to get on with Rick Tocchet? Do you think this is a good fit? I think it's not. Let me know in the comments all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.